So this is session 1 of 2 for Hearts of Wulin. This is a Powered by the Apocalypse hack that I've written for a very specific niche of Wulin wushu drama, in particular TV shows that are based on Chinese pulp novels from the 60s by Jin Yong and a whole set of different authors that have been made and remade. Shaw Brothers films that take massive novels down into an hour and 30 minutes that condense all of the stuff. But on the Chinese television series, there are dozens of episodes. Today, I was watching The Handsome Siblings, which is from the early 2000s, and it's a comedy one, but it's also serious, and it's so melodrama. It is just amazing. I love these shows. So we are in a very particular niche of the kind of drama we're doing. Crouching Tiger is a touchstone hero, and certainly those TV shows. And we'll talk about what that means when we come to that. So this is a game about melodrama. I just finished running Pasión de Pasiones, which is of course the telenovela. So this is very much for me in that same mold in terms of character thinking. So with melodrama, our concept is characters that are action martial artists, but they're also caught by their feelings and emotions and entanglements. They're awesome and they can do awesome things, but they are caught by their heart. So that's a good part of this. So this is Powered by the Apocalypse, which means that we throw some incidents in there, we play, things roll out from that. This is a play to see what happens. I have some ideas for incidents to throw in here, but we'll see based on how the characters build their links and approaches and so on. So one of the big questions here is there are various different levels of wushu magic, as it were. And we go from, say, the very grounded, well, I don't want to say grounded realism, but the realism of something like Ip Man to the high end of Bride with White Hair and Chinese ghost stories, which is full on supernatural magic, all that stuff, to somewhere in the middle that is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where people can do fantastical things. And my general hope is to kind of hit that midpoint, but I want to make sure that everybody is cool with that. That this isn't necessarily a thing of sorcerers, but it can be if you want. I want to see if anybody has strong feelings one way or the other about that.
I really want to be doing the Crouching Tiger running on air thing. All else I cared a little about.
Okay. You're most interested in doing the Lightfoot, the lightness work. Okay, that seems fine to me. Anyone else have strong feelings? Okay, well, we'll play with that. And one of the tools that we have for kind of keeping an eye on genre and tone is that this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. And so we are using the X card, which is a simple system for material control for problematic things. It's also for things that maybe are off genre and so on. X card is one of the simplest of the safety tools. That's why I use it for these short run online games. Is everybody familiar with the X card? We're all okay. All right. So if you see us at home, if you see us do this, or you may see me talk about the X card, in which case we're editing past some problematic material. And I may ask a question before we move forward on that. One of the things I also want to say is you may notice how white I am. I want to make that absolutely clear. This is me as a Midwesterner with a background in Middle Eastern studies who just loves these shows and is trying to do a respectful appreciation for that. So recognize when we're doing this that this is not historical China at all. And it's not even it's a third-hand version of a fantastical China. The novels that are out there are just now getting translated into the West. They're, from what I've read some books on how important they are. They came about, in the 50s and 60s, to the founding of these Legends of the Condor Heroes and all of these other ones that are just sort of fantastic, very influential novels, at least for the amount of stuff that's gotten redone. So I just want to say that if you find that we're maybe off topic, or if we go into parody, anybody can say, hey, we can XCard that or whatever. I just want to make sure that we all know that we're kind of on the same page on that. I will usually, when I do a 2-session game, I do sort of a version of talking about mechanics and things like that at the end of the second session. If people want to do a Discord debrief, I can also do that. This is a play test in some ways. My focus for the questions that I would have for you when you're looking at this for later on, when you're thinking about it, is, hey, how many times can I hit this microphone? If when you're looking at the moves and things, if you go, I don't understand what that means. I don't understand what that's supposed to do. If things are unclear, that's my sort of focus for the play testing today. So, having talked for a very long time, what I want to do is walk through our character creation process and get everyone to kind of choose what they're thinking about character-wise. Now, Michael got on, and Michael was here earlier, and he chose one of the 5 playbooks, which is the Loyal, and has chosen the Swordsman from the Loyal. It is possible for people to double up on the playbooks if you want, because there are those different roles, and I think there's enough moves for this short run game that people wouldn't necessarily overlap for what they're thinking about. So what I want to do is I want to see what everybody wants in terms of their playbook, and then I'll talk about the steps that we'll walk through with that. So Agatha, what are you thinking about?
I'm glad that you said that we could maybe double up if we choose a different background, because I was looking at official and that one looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. So yeah, absolutely. Take a look. What I would have you do, if you and Michael both took the Loyal track, is I'd have you then talk about what when we get to the picking of the secondary moves, you guys kind of dole out which ones you want, so that there's no overlap on the other ones. Does that seem cool?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, awesome. So that leaves plenty of room for you, Fraser. Do you have any questions about those playbooks, what they might mean? You might be muted as well, Fraser, if you're talking to me.
Oops.
That's okay. You play with Sherry too much.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, no. I like the idea of the Wanderer. I really want to be action-packed, though.
Okay.
Is that an action-packed playbook?
Well, there are some. So the Wanderer gives you people that you run into. You've got some interesting things for escaping. Got disguise is another thing. Of course, you get to set traps. You get to appear wherever you like. With the Have Sword Will Travel. That's another one. You can hide and pop out with Reign of Assassins. So there's some interesting ones there.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that then.
Okay.
That sounds neat.
All right.
Or at least that's in the running. So if somebody else really wants that, then let me know.
So Matt, what are you thinking?
I am just looking at these now, having not looked at them previously.
Fair enough. Have any questions?
Well, actually, yeah.
I will say one thing. So all of your characters are combat effective. Any character you take will be effective in combat. It is the nature of this game. I'll just tell you that one thing. But you were going to ask a question, and then I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. The question was just basically, is there an playbook that doesn't get picked very often when you've been playtesting this, or an archetype under one of them that hasn't been seen?
That's a very good question. Given that this is only the second time we've played this, I can't answer that particularly well.
Fair enough. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I was. I'm thinking maybe I'll be a student.
Ooh, interesting.
I kind of like the idea of being a wandering monk.
Okay, that sounds good.
Not that I know much about Chinese religion, so maybe that's not the best.
We essentially we say that you come from the temple. That is the sort of the extent of which we engage in those things.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll go for the wandering monk.
Okay. So we have those. It's going to be cool. You have one of those roll moves. You get the one associated with that, and then you get to pick two of the moves from the 8 that are listed underneath that. And let me come back over. So if you check on the tab that says character creation basics, there are some guidelines for some of the other bits, obviously the appearance and dress. One of the things you're going to choose is what you're going to call your style, and what element of your 5 chi it's going to be associated with, which is sort of a purely a mechanical what you're going to be rolling with there. It also has what kinds of weapons. The third column shows you what the stats would be like, how you want to put them together, whether you want to have a more even distribution or more varied. It's up to you. So if everybody can kind of pick your moves and work through the bits that are on that first character creation basics tab. And if you have any questions about that, then hit me up on those points. Let me talk a little bit about what rolling means in this game and how it differs from standard PbtA. I am thieving mercilessly from Fraser Simon's The Veil for this. So you may note that we have different chi elements that kind of very generically represent kind of what they might mean, what kind of mood you're in, particularly underneath the 3 ones, like, for example, Earth is about stability, focus, presence. That's about the way you're approaching something when you go to do a move. It's about the way you're thinking about something when you go to do it. You get to pick what chi you're rolling with when you roll. The only limitation is if you are fighting, you always roll with your style element. So the question that Rich now puts to me is, why would you not always roll your best element? Why would you not always roll your best stat? And here is what it is if you go to roll and do something awesome and you don't do well and you end up having to essentially take harm, the harm you take is actually on that stat, and it is then marked. So, for example, if Fraser goes to do something with fire and he fails, one of the options I can say is, I'm going to have you mark chi. He would mark his fire, and until he gets that fixed, he can't roll fire. So you can use up your stats. When your style element stat is marked, it means you can't fight. When other things just affect, kind of limit your options. So you need to be thinking about that. It's kind of a strategic choice there. If you're in combat, you also have the option to be wounded. There's a box for that. When you're wounded, you don't cross out any of your chi, but at that point you're out of the fight until somebody can heal you. So that's the basics of how that works, and that's what's going on with that. Are there any questions about that or about any of those moves that are on the playbook list? No? Okay. I'm going to sit here and drink my tea.
Actually, I do have a question.
Please.
Yeah, so it's about, I'm looking at the styles,
Mm-hmm.
and under the cheese, They have like short descriptions of them.
Mhm.
What does that? How does that work?
So that's purely a piece of the fiction. So
Oh, I see.
that's for you to go, okay, well, I think I'm rolling with Earth because I think in this action I'm focusing on my stability or focus or presence. So that's how that works for general. With style, what I would do is think about what chi represents the kind of fighting you're doing. Are you about standing steady, or are you about movement, or about flexibility? Those kinds of things.
Okay, so the one that I'm kind of puzzled about is metal. It
Mhm.
controls solidity and reflection. Kind of like, what does that mean? Like,
So
first, it sounds kind of similar to Earth, so I'm
yeah, no,
curious.
there's definitely some overlap in the way these are. Um, Whereas metal, I think, is more about the sort of the physical nature of things, about stability and about a perception of presence. Metal is, how do I put this? At least as I'm viewing it, is a little bit tighter. A reflection, I actually mean about thinking back about things, about considering things. There is overlap in these. So consider them that how you want to feel about that. I mean, one of the things is that in looking through the various descriptions, I found so many different versions of what each of these means. I've gone with the most, horrible shorthand for them.
Okay, that's fair. Cool. Okay.
So I have a question
Yes.
about the moves here, Lowell.
Mhm.
One of the moves that I took as the loyal was
Okay.
2 Wondrous Tigers, which says when you comfort and support an ally, if you choose to create and immediately burn a bond, you give them a +2 to their roll instead of a +1. So basically, comfort and support can either be like a regular comfort and support move, but the way I read it is that you can also burn that bond immediately, and then it's like an aid or interfere type roll.
Yeah. So the two ways that you can do with comfort and support. When you go to comfort and support somebody, you can either, I mean, the most basic thing is clear chi for them. If they're injured and they need support in that, you can clear that for them. Or you can do essentially the bond is a way of generating that typical +1 that you would get from a standard aid action in another system.
So let's say somebody's in a fight, which I'm
Mhm.
assuming is a pretty common occurrence, and they roll a 5, and I say, okay, I'm going to comfort or support them to bump that up to a 7 because I have this move.
Mm-hmm.
Then I describe how I'm helping them or connecting with them, supporting them in battle, and then we make the bond, burn the bond, and it's good.
Yeah. Well, you roll. On a hit, you get to create that bond.
Okay. And it's roll with nothing, right?
No, whenever it says just roll, if it says just roll, you always choose what chi you want to roll with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only places where I have specific rolls are the fighting ones have you roll whatever element is associated with your style. And then the take a powerful blow is based on the number of chi that you've already marked.
Okay. So if I decide to use that comfort or support move, and I'm just going to burn the bond immediately, we don't need to write out a sentence for the bond
Nope.
necessarily, right? We just do
You
it.
describe the brotherhood or the allyship that you are setting out there.
Okay. And we can do that after a roll,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You
Okay.
just roll that into that fiction.
Sounds
I
good.
keep getting alert things that I'm not seeing where I'm getting alert from. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to take a look at that. Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was like, it's an unusual, and I hadn't realized what the ping was. I'm going to move that over to this window so I am better at seeing those chat messages.
Oh my gosh, Michael, you got nunchucks for your weapon.
I got triple nunchucks.
Well, it's yeah.
Are those also
That's-
nunchucks?
That's awesome.
Cool.
Frasier,
Also,
what do you?
I can't.
Oh, go on.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just commenting on Michael's character's name. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm looking at Zhao.
Oh,
Uh,
I keep on trying to figure out what that would be. Well,
Tell me more.
yeah, it's a great name.
Okay. For reasons I don't even completely understand.
Yeah, in the factions and names tab, I have pulled together a variety of name generator generated first names from males and females, and then an assortment of Wulinish nicknames I've also put there. So if anyone needs those. So Frasier, what are you going to fight with? What's going to be your weapon?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't want something pedestrian. I want something really cool. But I'm not sure because I don't know. I always go for swords, but I'm trying to branch out, you know.
Use a whip.
Oh yeah.
Whips are sick.
Yeah, I do. I did just watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and I like Jade Fox's one with like the twirly thing that can mess people up. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But what is that called? Should I just call it a whip?
Yeah.
All right.
Or even like
Or
a
you could-
steel whip.
Yeah.
Can it be like? Have you ever seen Brotherhood of the Wolf?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So can it be like that sword that becomes a whip? Right?
Yes.
Like where
Yes,
it
it can.
detaches.
Yes.
Cool. So I'll just name that Weird Sword.
Okay.
Weird Sword. Also, can I just
The
make up
devil's-
my style? I just made it up as Whispering Tear. But I don't-
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Everything in there is just examples.
It's the devil's fishing pole.
Oh, there's a list. Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah. And then type is just sword, I guess? Or
Yeah, a sword, or if you're having it so that it stretches, you could describe it as flexible. However you want to consider it.
That makes you sound like a bad guy.
well, yeah.
Weird. And you went with metal as your solid thing. Okay.
I also had another question, Lowell.
I've
While
got an
people
answer.
are figuring their business out.
Sure.
Story.
Mhm.
That section of the sheet. What did you intend? What sort of story were you looking for us to contribute beforehand?
I put that in there just in case people want to make notes, because I think a lot of that's actually going to come out when you're thinking about your character, and then I'm going to point you to the entanglements, and that will probably generate, who exactly you are and what you're thinking about.
Should we be choosing entanglements now?
Well, let me make sure. So before we move on to that, I want to check in. Matt, do you have any questions on moves or the numbers or anything?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Okay,
I'm just still making decisions, but I'll be
Okay.
quick.
Yeah, no. So the way we're going to work with this is for each of you, we have entanglements that you're going to come up with. You're going to come up with for yourself essentially a standard entanglement and a romantic entanglement. But before we do that, because you may want to bring other people in on those entanglements, I want to have each of you, I want to go around and have you tell us something about who your character is, what you're thinking about them, sort of general disposition, both in terms of their role, and the moves that they took, so that everybody has a sense of that, and then we can look at the entanglements, if you guys don't mind. In which case, Michael, I am going to start with you, which is the cost for being the first on the scene. In the column reading here. So why don't you tell us about who your character is, what their name is, and what their role and moves are like?
Sure. So I went ahead and went with the name Lucky Dog Xiao, who is a loyal swordsman. His primary chi is water, and I think he's someone who's very serene and peaceful, goes with the flow, so to speak, and that's kind of where I gained inspiration from that chi in particular. He has very soft features and like smooth edges on his body. He has very modest and unassuming dress, but he has very hard, perceptive eyes, and that's kind of the one thing about him that's hard, so to speak. His style of martial arts is known as Abundant River's Blessing, which is a water style, and he uses a 3-section staff, which is like kind of like 3 long nunchucks connected by chains. So imagine like one folding staff, but then like 2 chains in them. Yeah. Used by Sante, I believe. For moves, I chose a couple of moves that I think are going to be helpful, like for supporting role. I kind of see this character as like a bit of like a bodyguard in a sense. Like there's someone that he's going to be very interested in defending. So he has a move, Two Wondrous Tigers, which allows you to help when you're supporting an ally. And also he has a move called Legend of the Mountain, which helps him to defend people and places. So that's the kind of the crux of the character. But you said you wanted me to talk about entanglements, maybe?
Well, I'll come to that. And I want to get everybody's basic description, and then I'll point us to entanglements, if you don't
Sure.
mind. But let me ask you this: how old? Young, old, medium? What are we talking here?
Yeah, I'm thinking probably like 25 to 28. Sort of not quite young, but not quite old.
But definitely having spent some time in the service of someone or something.
Yes. Whether that be a mercenary company that hires him out to be a bodyguard, or whether it's been one person in particular who's been guarding for a while. But yes.
Okay, we'll come back to that. We may be able to roll that in to your entanglements and figure out the details on that. Okay, that gives us some good things to work with. We'll come back to you. I'm going to go to the next column. Agatha, can you tell us about your character?
Okay, my internet is really spotty right now, so
Oh, I'm
I don't know
sorry.
if yeah, I'm sorry. It's always like this. I don't know if it might be with someone first, so we can wait it out to see if
Sure.
because I don't know if I'm going through actually.
Absolutely perfect.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, all right, then I'll go then.
Well, let's hold off. We're getting that overlap. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
What I'll do is let's have you go and do yours right now.
Okay. So my character is Lin Gengxin, which is literally the name of the actor. I saw it in the list and I thought, okay, I'll go with that. He is an official, maybe like a young up and coming local magistrate of sorts, some kind of like law based job. And he has his look is sort of looking like he's a righteous man. Is the 6 petal palms. which is a very it's a, it's a very like gentle style, which is kind of like goes against what you would expect when you see him.
I think we lost you there at the very end here.
Where did it cut off?
Just after you six petal palms.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It's a very gentle style, which, or it looks, its power is in the way that it uses other people's force. So the way that what is it, like judo works, and it's very unexpected for people because when they see him, they expect him to use a sword, but he doesn't.
So is he carrying any kind of weapon?
He has, he has a fan.
Perfect. That's perfect. So do you imagine that this is someone who has passed the imperial examinations to gain this post, or are they training up for that? How do you imagine that?
Oh, he's definitely passed it. Yeah. Though maybe not with like the highest marks because he's in this like place.
That makes sense to me.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna move on to Fraser. We'll get him and Matt, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the entanglements.
Cool. So
Fraser.
I'm playing Wailing Pain Lei, if I'm pronouncing it right. Lei. Lei? Is it? Hello?
Works for me.
Is that the correct pronunciation? Okay. So she is a woman, gentle face, porcelain face, beautiful. I'm riffing off of that episode of Samurai Champloo, episode 20, with the woman who plays the what is it? The erhu what is it called? The old Chinese violin, and it's like really sad, so that's why she's called Wailing Pain. It's not like she's feeding on people, but
Okay.
she also can do that. And her style is Whispering Tear. She uses a weird sword, which is flexible and unusual because it detaches and becomes a whip-like thing. And let's see, I'm a wanderer. My moves are the wandering move. I can also help someone ignoring usual limits of time and distance, and I can go into the shadows. So I picture her very much as like a sort of stealthy assassin, just like the woman that I forget the name of in Samurai Champloo.
So is she an assassin?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Depending on what we decide the fiction is, I guess.
Okay. Well, but that's the thing. Is a character who travels and is a sword for hire. In not in a particularly public way. Okay.
Yeah.
And how old did you think?
Pretty young. I've got a picture up. I think probably something like 20, 22, something like that. And I think she gets away with it just from the assumptions of other people thinking that she's not capable of assassinating people. She just sings her wailing songs of sadness. But in fact, they are sexist and I could beat the shit out of them.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. Great pictures there too. Thank you, everybody. All right. I'm going to come to Matt then. Matt, please tell us about your character.
Okay. So I am just named Ming.
Okay.
I have no other name or fancy nickname. I haven't written anything in the look section, but I imagine him first of all, he's young, not like a kid, but maybe 20-ish. He's short hair, warm, friendly smile. He is a wandering monk, and I imagine that he probably hasn't left the temple maybe since he was a child, and is basically setting out on his own for the very first time, or has set out. His fighting style is called the Seeking Pilgrim style, which is taught at the temple. And the weapon that he uses with it is basically a walking stick, a big staff. And it's generally a more defensive style, or it's meant to be. And he's got, his moves are Blade Heart, which lets him try to convince minions of the villain to back off or change their loyalty. And Smiling Proud Wanderer, because he's just here to have an adventure. He just wants to see the world.
So he's excited to leave the temple. This is not a thing that he didn't want to leave. He's wanted to go.
Yeah. He's very eager to go. He wasn't like sent away or anything. He has basically never seen any of the world and wants to see and experience as much of it as possible. He's a very curious.
Do you imagine that he was raised in the temple as an orphan, or was he sent there by his family and does have family out here? What do you think?
He's probably been. I think he was given to the temple basically as an infant, and he doesn't know his family. He doesn't know if they're alive or dead, and the monks never told him anything about where they came from, if they even knew.
All right. Okay, that gives us some interesting things to work with there. So now we know something about each other's characters. We have some general things. We're now going to look at the entanglements. And if you look on the CC2 tab, entanglements are the bread and butter. They're all triangles. So they're all about, I'm in love with this person, but they're in love with this other person, kind of thing. That set of relationships. And each of you is going to pick a romantic one and a general one, and we'll put in some people, and you can add in your fellow PCs if you think it'd be interesting to have your fellow PCs involved in one of those relationships. Now, on that tab, I've made some sets to pick from for each of the playbooks. So it's an easy one. If you want to look and see the bigger list, I've also got that on the table there as well. Big columns for romantic and general entanglements. And if you're looking for names, the Factions and Names tab has example names and also names of different clans and things. So one romantic, one general for each of you. Anyone have any questions about those entanglements, as awkwardly as I've written them?
I was thinking, Matt, if we want to go Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, maybe I fled from you because of the heartache. But Blank, their lover, has called me back to honor a debt. I don't know who Blank is.
Oh,
I don't know who Blank is either.
I like that one. Who would it be?
An official loyal swordsman. Um,
Sorry, I'm trying to navigate all these tabs.
I know.
Getting lost.
I wanted to make it as complicated as possible.
I guess the whoever, if another PC wanted it, it would make them bisexual or gay though. So that would be up
Almost
to you.
possibility.
I had a different gay relationship in mind, so
Oh, well, let's just do it up then.
So I cut out again. What did you say? What was your takeaway?
Mine is I fled from blank because of the heartache, but blank, their lover, has called me back to honor a debt.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yes, and I thought that it would go well with a monk who probably would be like, nah, right? But then, yeah, it would be up to y'all if you wanted to take it, because as far as I know, the other characters are male. So I was just saying it would it would make your characters the way that it's stated now, bi or gay, which is completely fine with me. And it sounds like,
Or we can set up an NPC, however you want to do it.
yeah, exactly. That's why I was leaving it open for if somebody wanted it or not.
Yeah, I don't mind, but I feel like a gay relationship with a monk is like that's like even if this is like fantasy ancient China, that's like a lot.
Also, I mean, I left because of heartache. I know what you're going through already. So but yeah, that could totally just be an NPC even.
Does that work for you then, Matt?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. So who do we think the Matt's lover is now?
Yeah.
Someone that you've met on the road, another martial artist person. What do you think? Someone. It could be, in fact, for Fraser, it could be somebody actually related to you. That was a sound. It could be a relative or an old friend that has now taken up with the monk.
Which relative of yours would be interested in a young monk?
Do you have a sister, a cousin,
Yes.
childhood friend?
Yeah, maybe a sister.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be
So are
cool.
we only looking at the romantic entanglements right now, or also the general ones?
Can also be looking at the general ones.
Okay.
One from each.
Okay, who wants to either be my master or my sibling, my younger sibling?
Which is it?
So the one I'm looking at is I remain loyal to my master, blank, despite how they treat my younger sibling, blank.
Oh,
Interesting.
I don't know if I have that many siblings.
I don't know if I have any siblings.
Let's see.
What are you thinking, Michael?
huh.
Ooh, whoever is that, can they be my sibling separated at birth and I don't even know about that? Raised to destroy my clan? That would be cool.
What?
Yeah. I'm just trying to DJ your hookup, Agatha.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying, if somebody wants to be your sibling or master, then maybe they're also my sibling separated at birth.
It's too bad that we're all kind of young, because some of this is like definitely needs a sort of age disparity.
Yeah, but that's also, I mean, the idea is that they don't have to necessarily connect all the PCs. You can put in NPCs, and then we build. That gives us some space to work in.
Yeah, but I would love to raise someone to destroy a clan.
Yes, there is that.
That's so evil.
All right. Well, let's start with Fraser. Let's get this one down on paper, Fraser. Let's start with we know that you were going to do the fled, and you fled from Ming, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because of the heartache. And what is your sister's name?
Let's go with I'm late, so Sue.
Okay. Does she have is it just Sue, or does she have a cool title to go, like Wailing Pain?
Run around, Sue.
No title for her.
She's just a girl named Sue.
Okay.
I think her name is Stealing Ming Sue. That is good.
Wow.
Way of the Stealing Boyfriend. Yeah. No, I don't have a cool title for her just yet, so I'll just put Sue, and then maybe
Okay.
if you want her to have a title, you can.
We'll come up with that.
Does
Okay.
she play an instrument also?
Can she play the? I don't know what it's called, but you know the thing.
The biwa?
What?
Is that what it's called? No.
I don't know what it's called in English, but the thing
The
that has
steel
lots of
guitar?
strings that you pluck.
Oh, the zither.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it should be the zither, I think.
It gets translated to English in a bunch of different ways, but zither is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I play the erhu and she plays the zither. That's cool.
Oh my gosh. You just
So
need
ma-
2 more sisters, and then you would fit like the ideal woman thing.
Form Voltron as a band. I think
Oh, gosh.
you probably think of a cool like musical name though. I was thinking like if she also plays an instrument, like I don't know how you would describe what a zither sounds like compared to the mournful erhu, but or maybe mournful could work. Mournful sorrow.
Mournful Sue.
Mournful
Yeah.
Sue.
Sure. I like it.
Wonderful.
Hey, we're just big on point today, okay?
All right. So we've got one of your moves. Then who else has either a general or romantic that they think they have an idea for?
I had a romantic idea, but it might be a little bit difficult to triangulate with the other ones on the table.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and throw it out there. I love blank, and I was thinking here this would be cool if it was Lin Gongxin, but it could be somebody else too. But they are engaged to blank, whom I respect. So that would be defining something about somebody else's character. So I want to run that
Right.
by. Would be interested in that.
I feel like that person would, unless I'm engaged to Panlei, like it would have to be an NPC. Because
But like, are you cool with
Very.
being engaged or?
that's fine.
No,
Okay.
I don't mind being engaged either. So
Oh, so why are we engaged? We're like the opposite.
Well, that's a good question. Let me ask you this then, Lynn. Do you know what Wailing Pain Lee does? Do you know that? I mean, if you're engaged to her, do you know that in fact she is an assassin?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, Fraser, like how does Lei like present herself normally? Is she clearly like I'm a semi-antagonist, or is it more like, oh, I'm just like a lovely lady who?
yeah, lovely lady. I'm going for the Jen thing.
Perfect. Okay,
Yes.
so I don't know. I think, yeah, like, okay, that's great. I like
Okay.
that.
All right. Does that work for you, Michael? Then
Wait, does that mean that I'm the rebound?
You don't
Dang.
know that probably though.
Wow.
I'm 22. A lot has happened in my life.
Life is hard. Okay.
So Lynn, then let's go to yours. A general or a romantic. What are you thinking?
I remember seeing one, and I can't find it on the list, but I remember there was one that was like I like arrested someone's friend or something,
Yeah.
or like
There are like let's see, it's down in the lower part of the general ones, I think.
You should arrest my ex.
okay, I could,
Let's see.
That's how you discover the truth.
but why would I arrest a monk? That's so wrong.
Maybe he was giving holy water to people in the streets. That's what happens in the olden days, right?
There's one. I brought my sworn ally's sibling to justice. And you can certainly
Oh.
modify that to be their parent or a friend or relative, however you want to do that.
Yeah, that's a. I still can't find it.
Oh,
Can you give me like the square that it's on, the coordinate?
Sure. That is G 12
G12. Okay, great.
or G11. They're all right in there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, no, there's another one that where it's like I didn't let them escape justice or something.
Let's see.
I was reading through the list like.
Oh, okay. There's G10 is bringing someone to justice there.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Great. So can I say I brought my who should be my ally?
All right, let's see here.
Michael, how about Lucky Dog Show? Sorry. I love the name. Yeah, so how about I'm like, you're my ally.
Yeah.
But I right?
I love you.
But yeah, but
yeah.
But I feel bad because I brought your sibling.
It could be one of his fellow monks, like a blood brother from the temple, someone he grew up with.
No, it's
or the
it's
loyal
Lucky
sword.
Dog Xiao. Are you also from a temple?
Oh no, I'm thinking the wrong one. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Oh, okay.
What I was starting to think here, because it sounds like maybe Blay might be from like a somewhat important family, maybe it sounds like, or even you could be from an important family. But I'm thinking maybe I'm a servant of that family.
Okay, cool.
But what were you asking before that?
Oh no, I was just wondering if you have a sibling that I brought to justice.
Oh yeah, sure. Unlucky dog, Shen. You know.
And what did his sibling do, Lynn, that you were forced to bring them to justice? That broke your bonds, allyship. What crime?
Oh, it was definitely some kind of family feud thing going on, and your brother killed a government official.
Ooh,
which like
yeah,
I can't cover for you.
Sure.
Do that.
And I think that maybe my side of the family has a slightly different story, but the fact of the matter is the blood's on the blade. So.
Yep.
All right. I like it. Matt, let's come to you. Do you have a general or romantic one that you're looking at?
Well, I was looking through the romantic ones, and One that would fit with me and Sue and my past with Wailing Pain. If I didn't want to complicate that further, is just Sue and I love one another, but that will change if they learn of my history with Wailing Pain.
Oh, so
So
she doesn't know that she stole you from.
No.
Wow.
I like that a lot too, because the second one I chose was I have hidden my true identity from Lin because of my past with Ming.
Okay.
Oh boy.
That fits. All
Symmetry.
right.
Symmetry.
Okay. All right. So I like that. So we've got the Sue one, and then Fraser, you are doing the symmetry one there on that, right?
Yeah, I've hidden my true identity from Lin because of my past with Ming.
Okay.
This is when we already threw that out there, so we might as well put some mechanical weight behind that to give it some juicy stuffs.
I like it. And to tell you what the mechanical weight is for this in play, there are two things that occur from these entanglements. One, it's a great way to generate XP. In a session, you will highlight one of your entanglements. If you get involved with that, if things happen with it, then you get 3 XP. And your other ones you get involved with, you get an XP. Also, if stuff goes down because of it, that's the time at which you have to roll inner conflict, which is the deal with it move from Monster Hearts, but modified. So that's where that comes in. So Lynn, that's your general entanglement. Lynn, what is your romantic entanglement?
Oh no, I haven't really looked at it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get back to you.
Okay, I'll come to Matt. Ming, you've done your romantic one. That's always the tough one. So what's your general entanglement? And again, it doesn't have to be with PC. You can entangle an NPC in this.
I hadn't looked at those super well. Does anybody have any suggestions?
Let's see. So your monk on the road. Let's look at some of those interesting entanglements. Well, so one of the things could be now. So you broke up with Lee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a thing there where you suspect someone of evil, but someone who you respect believes in them. That could be part of the reason why you broke off with Lee, is if you suspect, the kinds of thing that she's doing.
So who believes in Wailing Pain Lay?
Everybody.
Is it a teacher? Is it another family member? Somebody else? Who do you respect?
Is it
I mean, I'd respect other members of my temple probably, but it could be another PC. I don't know. Lynn is engaged to Lay. Actually, is Lynn the surname or the first name?
That's my last name.
Okay.
My first name is Gongxin.
Gongxin?
Yeah.
I probably won't say that super well. I'm sorry.
No, you did it. No, it's great.
Okay. Well, how would you feel about do you believe in your fiance's goodness?
Yeah, I haven't been given reason not to.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we know that you know Gongxin, and that you respect him.
Oh no. I love these entanglements so much.
I feel like I'm not evil. I just,
Just
gotta get by.
We'll look into that. We'll figure that out. That does bring us back to Lynn. What is Lynn's romantic entanglement?
So, Magistrate Lin, so romantic entanglement is there is mutual unrequited love between Lucky Dog Xiao and I because of my duty to, it's gotta be my dad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, so you changed it from being a rebound to being like, I'll guess I'll marry her.
But like, you're a very gentle and beautiful woman, so it's not like I'm not
Yeah, you're falling on your sword.
like under the circumstances, it's not a bad match.
I mean, her name is Wailing Pain. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well,
Also-
that does bring a question. Is Wailing Pain your assassin name, or is that how you're referred to generally?
That's my like bad name. Like on the flyers when I come to play it, that's like my publicist's name for me
Okay.
because I sound so sad.
All right. So everybody gets to choose and start with a bond. You'll start with a bond with one other player.
Michael still has one.
What? I thought I got both of those.
About to call you on that. It's all right. This one's pretty easy to slot in. I swore to blank that I would protect blank, but they would be offended if they knew.
Ooh.
So who would be offended if they knew that they had someone protecting them? Like, who doesn't want to be patronized in that way? Yeah, Wailing Pain. All right, cool. So I guess who has secretly asked me to protect her? Probably her fiance. Getting fingers. Yep. Okay, we're good.
Okay. All right.
Getting a Strange Days vibe from this.
All right. So what you can do if you want is you can pick a clan or faction that you belong to, that kind of has the bond that you're attached to. Probably the most important one right now is going to be figuring out what clan Lin is attached to. I've got some example names there on the factions and names list. I've got them broken into righteous or orthodox. That's another way to think of them. Ambiguous, and then unrighteous / unorthodox clans. So any of those names appeal to you?
Wait. So for the righteous, is it just the two?
I just put two on there to kind of make it not have too many of them. But if you have another name you'd like to throw in that you'd like to call your clan, I'm welcome. Would welcome that.
Oh, I see the list now. It has to have something to do with the six petal palms.
So what do you want to call them?
There's a Falling Leaves Society
Yeah, that's true.
or Blossoming Grace.
Is there something that's like the clan or something?
I've got a G36. If you look over there, I've got a couple of example lists.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So it's the Petal Palm Guardians.
Petal Palm Guardians.
Yeah, we've been serving the government for generations.
And is it that you think your family they have the knowledge of this very particular powerful style that has been passed down and that is well regarded?
Yeah. I put that in under relationships, right? So
Yeah, you can put that under. I've got a thing there for for relationship, yeah. And you get a point with them. You put the name of them, gives you a bond.
Yeah, we're not the most popular amongst those in the, the in the Wulin because we serve the government. But we're also like we're very respectable in a way. We're just squares. That's what we are.
So people do believe that you're righteous, but
Yeah.
they're concerned about your allegiance with the government, and how much you value the values of Wulin over the control that the government wants to have over the Wulin world.
Yeah.
All right.
Is Wulin the country then?
No, Wulin means essentially the Society of Martial Artists. They are a kind of a parallel society to the power structure of the imperial authority. They are outside of that. There are many different words for it. That's the sort of the simplest way to describe it, I think.
Yeah.
Agatha, how would you?
Yeah, Wulin is especially like because there's like okay, so if we're talking just about Wulin, that's definitely just the martial artists, and kind of it's the world of martial artists, and yeah, it's definitely on the fringes of imperial rule.
Is it the same term as the young Hu then?
Jiahu is more like anyone who is not a part of imperial, like anyone who's like, oh, I just like sick of the government, I'm gonna go live in the mountains, but they don't necessarily need to know like martial arts. Wulin is definitely like because it means martial arts. The name means forest, so it's like forest of martial arts.
So we're a part of the larger underworld that is that, but we are also martial artists. Cool.
Yes.
And publicly acknowledge. I mean, the government appreciates them, but also worries about them because they have power. And sometimes they're the people that rise against the empire, and sometimes they're the ones that become the rebel forces. So there's a real tension there. Speaking of rebellion, intention, and pain and evil, Wulin Payne Lee, do you have a family that you've chosen there? Is it that blossoming
Grace? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that would be fitting for her.
Now, here's my question: is that the one that you were raised in? Are they the ones that taught you these secret, deadly arts, or did somebody else do that?
Yeah, we've got a red sparrow, black, or whatchamacallit, the
Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah, I think going on. Okay. And the name is Lei, though, not Lynn.
Oh, sorry, Lei. I'm going to get all of
Lynn
this.
Is Agatha. Yeah.
I'm going to get all of that mixed up just because.
My name is Gengxin.
Gengxin.
Lin. Yeah. But everyone should refer to me just by like Magistrate Lin.
Magistrate.
Oh, okay.
What about you, Lucky Dog? Are you affiliated then, since you're kind of a bodyguard? Are you affiliated with the Petal Palm or Blossoming Grace or something else?
So I imagine that Lucky Dog is like sort of a more lowly individual. So maybe like serving the government might even be like too high of a station for him. So he might serve the blossoming flowers, was it? Sorry.
Blossoming Grace?
Blossoming Grace family or clan?
Academy.
Academy? Oh, it's an academy.
Blossoming Petal. Oh, what? Who?
We got Petal Palm Guardians and Blossoming Grace Academy.
Oh, you don't serve my family?
Well, I thought that they served the government. Is that
but
like
you could
a lofty thing?
Yeah, but you could still serve my family because we are also like we're our own clan, like martial arts clan. So
okay, so there would be room to be in service of that clan without being part of that clan.
Yes. Like I'm specifically working for the government, and so is my father. But that doesn't mean that everyone in my family is.
Oh,
and the bonds there doesn't necessarily mean that you grew up with them or something. It's the sort of relationship that you have right now.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Then we'll just go with the Petal Palm Academy. Or Petal Palm, yeah.
Petal
Guardians.
Palm Guardians.
Right.
And then Ming, you come from Black Lotus Temple. That's a kind of a sinister sounding name if it translated into the English there. But is it not?
Oh no, it's really not. They're a bunch of hippies who smoke lotus flowers, or I don't know. It was eat lotus flowers was in the Odyssey.
Greek. Yep.
Yeah.
Ironically reading that today. Anyway, yeah, that seems good. Essentially, we can represent that. Maybe it's a particular flower that grows on the grounds there.
Yeah. I was imagining that they have like big gardens of it that they tend to most of the time.
All right. Well, we've got a bunch of details. We've got a bunch of stuff. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take 5 minutes, and I'm going to desperately try to figure out where we're starting with all of this chaos, and then I'm going to throw you all into the mix. We have a role for your party. The link for that is in the middle of the basic moves tab. You can find that there. So we'll take 5 and come back and get rolling.
Hey, Lowell, did you see that Chef's Table episode with the Korean monk?
Oh, that was so good.
Wasn't that good? Man, I
Such
love
a
that
good
show.
episode. I finally watched the dessert, the pastry.
Oh yeah, it's so
episodes.
good. I actually thought the first one was the best though. That the woman living
So,
in like Seattle or whatever.
yeah. It was a really interesting set of things. A little bit, how do I put this? As this series has gone on, there's been less and less talk about each person's like family, like the wife and children or husband and children, and that's been odd because I like that for the early episodes where we get a sense of how much pressure this puts on them from their family, or how
Yeah.
much their family has to be pressured by the heavy work that they're doing.
Yeah, I thought the later episodes weren't as good as the very first one. The first
Yeah.
one got me so hyped for it with that lady just like doing whatever she wanted, cooking like junk food and stuff, and I was like, yes, this woman is the best.
All right. So, Magistrate Lin Gongshin, your father your father the head of the household right now, or is his father alive, or is it a matriarchy? How do you picture for your family here?
We are like we're one of the side branches to the clan.
Okay,
We're not like the main one, but we're like the left hand of the main clan.
perfect.
Or the
Now,
main,
do you have siblings?
I should. I have a I have an older sister.
Sister.
Yeah.
But certainly for your family, their hopes have been kind of pinned on you and the work that you do.
Yeah. And my father's name is Lin Huo, Huo.
Father calls you in and he says, "We have been granted a great honor. I know that you have many things you must do in the course of your duties as a magistrate these days, but if we do well in this, the head of the clan may look more favorably upon us. There is to be a gathering of members from the various houses, the leaders of the various branches of our family are meeting, and they are meeting with members of the Purity Sword sect. There has been bad will between us for too long. They are coming here to our town to meet and speak on these things. And we are to make sure that things are settled throughout the city and that nothing untoward happens. I must turn to you to handle these matters, my son. What do you think of this?
Where's father?
You must take a lucky dog with you. He will aid you in this, and you must make sure that things are secure in town. There may be those malcontents who have heard of this and may be coming here to disrupt. There will be an exchange of gifts between the two families, including, I understand, we will be giving up one of the legendary lotus petals crafted at the beginning will be given over to the Purity Sword as a sign.
Okay.
This also may be an excellent opportunity, perhaps, we could coincide your wedding ceremony with this to match the auspicious days.
I'm not sure if that is wise, Father, that we would be so presumptuous as to put our private affairs on the same level as something that is so important as a meeting between all these different clans.
You are still young. You do not understand the opportunities that I passed by in my youth that I wish I had taken. We must be bold in these things. We must step forward. Will you think on this? At least consider this.
Yes. Yes, of course I will.
And he will dismiss you, and he's put a whole bunch of responsibility in your hands. What is kind of the first thing that, as a magistrate, and now he's kind of handed over responsibility for setting up a lot of things for the household, what would you do?
So my internet has been really spotty again.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So I feel like I only caught like maybe like 30% of what you said, which I feel really bad about because I feel like it was very intense and cool. But
so with your
what
father,
I heard.
Okay, go on.
I think, unfortunately, that it might be better to go to another player right now because I'm just
Absolutely. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So we set that
things
up.
are not coming through.
I'll swing over. Okay. Let's come then, with that in mind, to Wailing Pain.
Hello.
When the camera comes in on you, where do we see you?
Well, the last thing mentioned in the previous scene was like, you should think on this, right? At least. And I think when it agrees, it cuts to me thinking underneath like a cherry blossom tree or something, right? Practicing my Urhu.
And there's that. You know that in this household are people that worry you. Your fiance is here. Your sister is here. Lucky Dog, who you know, is here. But also, more importantly, Ming has arrived. After journeying from the temple, arrived to be greeted by your sister. Something perhaps you did not realize was going on, right?
Yes, and maybe they're even greeted by the wailing pain of me up on the hill. So that their treachery is known, but not really because I didn't see it, but they might think that.
Well, and that's the thing, is your sister called you back here because she's worried. Was she trained like you, or was she not trained as an assassin?
Oh, interesting. Probably not, because otherwise Ming might be suspicious of their evil ways as well.
So she called you back, and we probably flash back to her conversation with you, and she says, I need you here because I have heard that there will be a great ceremony going on soon, but with Holy Society, with the Purity Sword Set coming, and possibility for a set of alliances to happen. But I've also heard that there are those who have nefarious intent.
Who do you suspect of these deeds, sister?
I do not know, but you're the only person I could trust fully besides Ming. And you were the only one I could talk to about this.
We need not speak of Ming again. But
All right.
I will ferret out the nefarious people that you speak of, I'm sure.
And we cut to the crunching of leaves as a figure walks across over to you beneath the cherry blossoms, beneath the tree there. A woman, one of your instructors. What is her name?
Let's see these names here. What about Ping?
Ping?
Yeah, Ping.
Okay. We'll call her Auntie Ping.
Sure. I thought I'd be nice and not do another L name for you.
That says, I appreciate that. She says, Lei, it has been some time since we have spoken.
Indeed. How are you? And I stand up.
I am fine. Have you kept up your practice?
Could you not hear?
That is not what I spoke of.
Ooh, I like that. I am as sharp as ever, just as my notes are.
Good, good. We made arrangements for you to be put into this household for a reason.
And what reason is that?
Well, that time has come. There will be a meeting soon, and the leaders of Purity Sword Sect and of your own Petal Blossom Guardians will be present. And we will need you to eliminate one of them.
Which one?
We will tell you that when the time comes.
I see. Well, you can always count on me.
Excellent, excellent. Then you have no qualms about this?
Lives fall like my notes.
You have no qualms about doing this perhaps in front of Ming?
Ming sees little.
You may see more than you think.
Not this time.
If he becomes a problem?
I suppose I will have to deal with that when the time comes, if it ever happens, but I think Ming has his own distractions.
And she doesn't lean on you. I don't think there's any need to roll for inner conflict there. But that is in the back of your mind. And she will bow and she will return to her duties. And we will cut from there to Ming.
Hello.
Ming, you have come here and you're involved with Sue. How did that come about?
So, at one point in time, I was involved with Wailing Pain Lay. Actually, it's a good question. How did that come about? Considering I've lived a cloistered life in a temple.
I'm imagining that you would have gone out with the priests from time to time to do things, and fell in love at an early age. You know, grabbed those moments of joy where you could behind the backs of the monks. She, outside of the view of her instructors. Does that seem reasonable?
That works for me if that works for Lay.
Oh yeah, there was meadows involved.
When you met and fell in love with Sue, did you? And I say love, Lucy. You can define how you want it, how your feelings are. But did you know that this was Lay's sister?
I think I did, but I think I feel like more than just falling in love with Sue after Lay. I feel like I cheated on Lay with Sue, and I didn't realize that was not a thing people did, having that kind of thing. I was my first experience with love. Probably some of my first experiences with women. um, I there's a lot of things I don't know about the real world outside of the temple, and I made a grave error. And afterwards, broke things off with Lay and tried to hide that from Sue. Um, and but my relationship with Sue has basically been the same as it was with Lay, stealing time on supply runs
Mm-hmm.
or something, probably in the same places that I met with Lay. And I feel like she probably was there watching us from a distance, plucking at her or who.
And we've come to here now. You're in this household, the household that she is part of. You have friends here. You know Gongshin. You respect him. He's engaged to Lei. So that's kind of important to you. How do you feel about Lucky Dog?
Lucky Dog and I are friends from the road. Um, uh, he, I probably encountered him. Um, Actually, I don't know. We could ask Lucky Dog.
Lucky Dog, what do you think?
So I went with that as part of bonds for player to your left, and on the spreadsheet that means Ming, which is good because I want some more connection with Ming. But I figured that as like a bodyguard, I've probably been on the road guarding people before, and that's a good chance I may have crossed paths with you out there. So maybe we, took down some bandits or did some cool thing and earned a mutual respect there.
I like that idea. Maybe a supply run. It was just going to be me and the oldest man in the temple who couldn't really defend himself. So we kind of hired out for a little extra muscle and became friends on the road. And maybe every once in a while we could contact you for help if we felt we needed it.
For sure. I like that.
I like that. So I am going to assume, just to take kind of hard frame this in a little bit, that Ming, you, and Lucky Dog are out in the town, walking about, talking, maybe some guilt there, and Lucky Dog, you will see in one of the inns. Now, you're not a magistrate; you serve a magistrate, but you learned some things, right?
Yeah.
And as you're walking along, you see going into one of these taverns the Seven Ghost Fingers.
Ming, place a urgent hand on your chest.
They're looking around suspiciously. You see them go, drop a tail on the innkeep's stand, and he escorts them upstairs. And it looks like they're there to meet and discuss They have that air of planning, and they're a dangerous gang. What do you want to do?
Ming, those are dangerous men. Those are the 7 ghost fingers.
Are their fingers supernatural in some way?
Well, indeed, there are 7 of them.
They have 7 fingers?
That's what they say.
So many wonders outside the temple.
So many wonders, but they can still be used for evil.
So what do you think we should do? Call for backup? We could get the magistrate.
I do not want to bother my master. No. This is an auspicious day coming up, and we can't have any dastardly figures, or fingers, that is, to
Good.
interrupt this wedding and this meeting. I think it would be most beneficial if we could handle this with some quiet and some subtlety.
Some diplomacy. Yes, we will talk to them and make them go away.
Well, perhaps that is a good method.
So how do you want to handle this then? Like, the dog has a chance to prove yourself, right?
Indeed. Diplomacy. I am more used to speaking with my arms than with my words. But Ming, you are a very well-spoken individual. Perhaps you could show them the error of their ways, show them the righteous path.
Perhaps with my words I can. And if not, I do have a large stick.
You have mine as well, and I pull out my, do a little flourish and stick it back in my pocket. But we have to be aware of the fact that a monk is probably going to stand out in a tavern.
You don't know the monks where I came from.
Well, if you insist, be careful not to tear your robe.
I'll do my best. All right. I guess I'm going to stride in after them and try to strike up a conversation with this.
So you can walk up the stairs. You get that looks. I mean, you've let your hair grow out, so you're not the shaven head monk, but you have that robe, that look. You walk up to the second floor. There are 7 of them. They are lounging across chairs. They've got their food there. They're talking and drinking. They've clearly paid to have this area just for themselves. And you walk up, and you'll see they all kind of turn to look at you. A couple of them finger the pommels of their blades. And person who seems to be the leader will go, "I think you have lost your way, little monk."
Sir, I am right where I am meant to be. What is your name?
My name? You give me your name first. You walked up here into the place that we have reserved, little monk.
My name is Ming. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
My name is Sedate Rao.
Oh. Do you practice a lot of meditation, Rao?
I have from time to time when it amuses me. And that seems to generate some laughter amongst his crew. What is it you want, monk?
I came here to ask the same of you.
We are having a meal, relaxing, enjoying the sights.
And do you plan only on enjoying the sights for the next few days here?
Oh, obviously.
Is there any chance I could encourage you to move along, perhaps enjoy the sights of the next town over?
Are you telling us to leave, little monk?
Yes. Yes, I am. Well, asking politely, not telling yet.
That's rude.
I'm sorry, is it?
Yes. We were simply sitting here relaxing. And he stands up and he says, I see you have a staff with you.
Yes. Usually use it for walking. Usually.
And he says, then why don't you walk back down those stairs and go back the way you came?
Your tongues are nothing but vipers. This is nothing but a nest of demons.
Also,
I
I
can hold
brought a
my
friend.
tongue no longer.
You pop up? Is that what happens, Lucky?
I think I kind of like shouldered my way. I was like kind of standing like just behind Ming's shoulder, and it's like, your villainy will not be endured here.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we, dog? Seems to know who you are.
Or he just insulted him.
Yeah.
Calling him
And he draws his blade. And it looks like he's going to move to engage you, Lucky. And the other 6 are going to move to engage you, there, Ming.
This fine city will not suffer the lowly form of martial arts that the 7 ghostly fingers practice. I will fight you as you wish, but not within these boundaries.
I don't think you have a choice, servant. And we will go for you. I'm going to cut away from you two. I'm going to come back to Magistrate Lynn. How are you doing?
I think my internet is more stable now. So
Okay.
yay.
Your father has put the responsibility for keeping order in the town while all of this is going on your shoulders. So what would be your first task?
I was actually going to go because there's supposed to be an exchange of gifts with the
Yes.
lotus petal. Who does that? Where would I? Who is giving the gift? Let's say.
There is a senior member of your clan, a woman who has arrived recently, who you weren't sure why she had come, but she's clearly the one who has that gift and will be handing it off. And if you want, you can speak with her.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and find her. Well, the things that I would do is go talk to her first, and then go and talk to the heads of the various the leaders who are going to be meeting.
Okay. So you are kind of young, and this is a senior person. Her name is Coral Lantern. She's a senior member of your clan. She's been given an honored a space here in the household, and you will see that when you arrive, she has a handmaid with her, who you will recognize has the outfit of the academy that Wailing Pain comes from, or Lee, your fiance comes from.
Okay.
And she seems to be the servant to Coral Garden, and she kind of sits off to the side when you come in. Coral Garden welcomes you.
Hello.
You are Gongshin.
Yes, that is me. Well
Your
met,
father
madam.
speaks highly of you.
Thank you. It is my honor to finally make an acquaintance of you. I have heard many things about what you have done for this clan, and I would like to pay my respect.
It is appreciated. These stories get larger with the tellings. My own work is modest.
I'm sure that there is more than a bit of truth in them. As you know, I'm sure already that I am the I have been tasked with making sure that this meeting between the clans is going to go over smoothly, and I would just like to go and make myself known. If you find any issues that are, or if there's anything about accommodations that you would like changed, please let me know.
I am glad that you came to me. There is something.
Yes, of course.
I have traveled here with the gift that we are to present.
Mm-hmm.
It is a petal from the first lotus. I wish to put it into the hands of someone that I can trust to keep it safe. Would you be willing to guard this?
Is there a possible threat that you think is targeting you by any chance? That the petal is not safe in your hands?
She pauses and she kind of hesitates there. Do you want to kind of press to maybe get some idea of what's going on? Do you want to try and read the scene maybe, or do you want to just, okay.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
So that's a study action. So let's go to that move. You get to pick what Chi would like to roll with.
Oh, I see. I think what she. I think that's probably that would be awareness, right? So that would have to be water.
Yeah, you could agree with that. Yeah. So why don't you roll with water then?
Okay. The water is 0, so it should be. Doesn't make a difference. Oh, and I rolled a 10. I'm rolling
Excellent.
the yellow dice. Yes.
That is perfect. So I'm going to give you some basic info, and then you can look at the options that are on the study about questions and things.
Okay.
You can tell that she knows that there is some threat that she doesn't want to speak about, and that coming to you, that she's a little that demonstrates that she is nervous about something specific. So that's the basic info, and so you can use the study action, the study move.
Okay.
You've got 2 hold to spend on that.
Okay. Okay. I'm going. Well, I would like to find out how I can get her to tell me.
Okay. If you demonstrate sort of sincerity here and she clearly wants to trust you, and so if you follow up on that with due politeness, you have the sense that she will be willing to tell you.
Okay. Madam Coral Lantern, I understand that I am very young, and that one could have reservations in sharing their concerns with me, but I assure you that I want this to go over well more than anyone else, and that if you have any concerns about a threat to this meeting, then we should know. And I, of course, will promise you that I will put my all to handling it. And if I can't handle it, I will also, with your permission, of course, take it to my father as well, who has more pull. But it is, of course, up to you.
I've heard good things about you, so I ask that you be careful with what I'm about to tell you. I have heard that there is an agent who wishes ill at this meeting, who belongs to our family, who is associated with us, either directly or through some close tie. Beyond that, I do not know. I know we must be wary.
I see.
And you have one other hold. Do you want to spend that
Yeah.
now, or do you want to hang on to that?
I kind of want to find out about her attendant, actually. Would that
Okay.
be possible?
What do you want to know? What's your question?
I'm just, well, so I think I'm curious because if she's from the same academy as Lei,
Mm-hmm.
then I would assume that she doesn't know any martial arts. But if one is going to be the attendant of Coral Lantern, then that means they are very strong.
Yes.
So it's not, it doesn't make sense to me, and I want to know what's going on with that. So I want to know why she's here and what is her purpose.
So it is weird to you, the fact, but you know that there are different kinds of paths of training, but it does make seem odd. And this woman definitely has the feel of someone who's trained. And you're a magistrate. You see through those layers.
Mhm.
And she has the feeling of someone who's trained and perhaps keeps that quiet. So there's definitely an odd feeling here to you.
Okay.
Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yeah, and I think I probably maybe a few, but I probably also noticed. Well, I noticed that she is trained because when she walks, she doesn't make a sound at all, and that's clearly someone who knows the light-footed thing. I don't know what it's called in English.
Lightfoot or lightness, I've seen it translated as.
Okay, yeah. So curious. I'm gonna flag that, but not say
Okay.
anything.
Well, I'm going to cut away from you then after that information, and we're going to come back to Wailing Pain. Wailing Pain, matters of the heart. There's matters of the murder. What is it that you want to be up to?
Yeah, let's see. So if I, what do I need to do mechanically to engage with my entanglements to get that sweet XPs?
You go in and you kind of go and face them.
Oh, okay.
Go and talk with Ming. Go and talk with Sue or someone else that's tied up in that closely.
Okay.
How much do you resent your sister? How much do you love Ming?
Right. And so I'm looking to resolve them, or
You can, yeah. One of the things about this that's different from a lot of the sort of PbtA games is we can actually, deal with entanglements and change them and rewrite them or resolve them, or just engage with them.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I want to go to Sue and make sure that the debt is sealed and counted for.
So where do you find Sue then?
Sue, perhaps I invite her to a tea house.
She will come and meet with you. She's not nearly as highly placed as some of the others. You have a very good position. The academy has looked out for you. She has done not as well. And quite frankly, she's sort of tied romantically to a monk. That's not going to do well for her future prospects and lifestyle. So when she arrives, of course, she's a little bit in awe because you're the sister who is more polished, more trained, more skillful, wealthier. And so she's, sister, It's good,
Hello.
good to have a chance to speak with you again. Have you found anything out?
No, I have not found anything out, but I wanted to, and I like pour some tea for her. I wanted to make sure that you and I were on the same page, Sue. That the debt that I honored you, this is why I came. This is the only reason I would come to this place. And I'm like trying to skirt the issue of Ming as I usually do when talking with her.
And she goes, what do you mean? I mean, I need you to stay and help and make sure that nothing bad happens.
And that will clear my debt with you. Yes, sister?
We're a family. I mean, it's not so much a debt as a bond, right?
Indeed. But this, I think you can agree, goes beyond our bond, yes?
That may be, but I wish you would stay. I hope that I'm hoping that perhaps before you depart, you might see Ming and I wed.
Barb.
Can I have you roll inner
Sure.
conflict?
Sure. Okay, so
What do
That
you
will-
want to roll with?
probably metal, control, solidity, reflection, probably more the control part, so as to not blemish my sister's wedding plans with me telling her that her husband's a douche. No, just kidding.
All right, let's have you roll with metal.
That's a double one.
So, you don't keep yourself together. What happens?
Maybe I tell her, and not. I don't think I say Ming's name, but I say that I do the cartoon tiger. Let me tell you a story of two people that are definitely people in this movie, and say that before I became a wanderer when I was quite young. So I guess like 4 years ago, because I'm 22 or something, right?
Uh-huh.
Maybe 6 years ago. I
And it's at that
t-
point
Yeah.
that you mark chi,
Oh,
which would be
okay.
metal.
Okay.
It's at that point that Magistrate Lin arrives.
Oh, great.
Wait, why did he mark chi?
So he rolled a 2, so that's a fail. So as part of the GM hard move, I had him mark it there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come back to that, to you beginning to tell this story to your sister when your fiance arrives.
Do I know that, or am I just like that's in the background? We see that character listening in on me telling this story.
We'll find out when we come back, won't we?
Okay.
Okay. And I want to cut over to our two people in the top floor of this tavern. So let's start with you, Lucky Dog. Sedate Rao kind of goes, he's got his sword out. It's a very laconic style as he moves in on you. What do you want to do?
So I have a particular idea for how I want this like fight scene to go.
Okay.
I want to try to like herd them out of town while also looking as inconspicuous as possible.
Ooh, interesting.
So like I'm deflecting blows, like controlling movement and like covering up a lot with like robes and things like that. It's like if someone walked by, it looked like we were giving a handshake or something like that.
Absolutely. If you roll well, you could just, I mean, that's part of the fiction that you can absolutely describe.
Okay, cool.
Right now, these mooks that are fighting your monk friend are below his scale, he'll be able to deal with them. But this sedate Rao, he is on your scale.
Yeah.
So what is your style element?
My style element is water. And
yeah,
that seems to be in alignment with what I'm attempting to do here.
perfect. So if your foe is your scale, roll with your style element. We see what happens.
Okay. Has anybody claimed the blue dice?
That's the one I got double ones on, so you should use them.
Oh. I'll just roll those blue dice for now.
Guy.
5 plus water is 7.
Okay. So you have a couple of choices here. On a 7 to 9, you can win at a cost. You can lose, but you get to mark XP. Or you can deadlock with them and you get to reveal something about them.
I think I'll do the deadlock.
Okay. So what happens that the two of you describe to me how it is that this guy sort of counters what you're doing and you lock up with them?
Yeah, so like I said, we're going around town. There's like a scene where there's a guy like at a dumpling cart or something, and he kind of looks at us, and we're just like doing what looks to be a handshake, but really like he has his arm around my weapon. And
flip around, and you're looking at the wares together, like you don't want to make too much noise.
Right. I think what I want to learn about them is like someone that they respect, who they don't want to be seen fighting in front of. Because I think what's going to happen is we come to some part of town and then there's this person and I sense that he doesn't want to fight in front of them, and then we're able to like disperse.
Okay. So you will learn in sort of the discussion of this. You can see that they're here, but they kind of kept quiet because there is a boss who runs the streets here. And let's call them Boss Fong. Boss Fong runs the streets, and this guy would rather not get caught out by Boss Fong. So right now, I mean, you can tell that he is sedate Rao is kind of looking around and keeping an eye on things, doesn't want to get spotted. So you will kind of pick up on that. So I'm going to cut from that over to our monk Ming. These 7, now 6 ghost fingers come at you. These mooks. So describe to me how Ming deals with a gang of mooks.
Well, Ming's style is primarily defensive, so I feel like he's probably going to try to get in the middle of them and then just avoid their blows so that they wind up striking each other. He'll, bend over backwards or hop up on his stick to dodge them and send them tumbling. One of them goes down the stairs, that kind of thing. Just without actually engaging much with them, let them beat themselves and each other up. That would be what he attempts.
That seems perfect. So you will roll with your style element.
Cool. All right. I'm going to roll those so lucky blue dice.
Yes.
Nope. I rolled new set of dice and got the same result.
What does that give you?
7. No, wait. Oh, 6.
Okay. So you have a choice. Their numbers can overwhelm you, which means you get to mark XP. You have to retreat because they're like you got left back with 6 of these people, and that's a fair fight. Or you can win, but you have to pay a cost.
Okay. What kind of cost?
Well, the easiest cost would be for you to mark your style element, to mark your chi there.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. Or we could talk about embarrassment. That's a cost. What would you think?
I'm gonna go for the XP, I think.
Okay. So what does it look like? How do they overwhelm you?
I imagine he's doing his like trying to dodge them maneuvers. He like sticks his staff down and hops up with one hand planted on the top of it, and then one of them kicks the staff out from under him, and he goes down hard, and then they just jump on him. And he might have, gotten them to give each other a few punches or whatever, but in the end, there's just too many of them, and his acrobatics just can't keep up.
Perfect. So you kind of have to leap out that second floor, hit the street. So right now you're in the street, kind of getting away from them. You mark XP. We see that down the street, your compatriot Lucky Dog is locked up with Sedate Rao. I'm going to cut from that over to Magistrate Lin. I'm going to frame you into this scene, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have been heading into town. You're going to talk to some of the other heads of the house. You're also looking for Lucky Dog because he's your bodyguard, assistant, helpful. Yeah. But as you were walking along, passing by the tea house, you happened to see your fiancée and her sister. Let me ask you this then: if you go in to speak with them, would you be more cautious so that you don't interrupt, and so you might overhear, or do you announce yourself more loudly?
I am a respectable and polite man, so I will. I'm just gonna come closer to see if they're in a conversation that they don't want others to be a part of first. And I also haven't seen Lei like since we first got engaged. Like we don't know each other very well at all. I've seen her once, and I know that she's very beautiful, and that's it. And she seems like she doesn't know any martial arts from what I know, but I don't know anything. So I'm a little awkward as well. I'm like, oh.
That seems perfect to me. So with that in mind, what is that story you're telling, Lee?
Yeah. The story is obviously me, but I'm using other people's names. Like once there was a woman at the Blossoming Grace School who, at a young age, ventured out on tasks and met a monk, and they fell in love, but it was not meant to be, and spurned the young woman left. And I think the part of me like losing my shit a little bit was like maybe at the end of it, just so Sue gets the hint that like my hand tightens around the cup so much that it does the breaking thing, right? It shatters beneath my touch.
And your sister's eyes have gotten wider and wider and wider, and then you hear her go, "Magistrate Lin!" at the very end of that.
Right.
Oh, when someone calls for me, I have my hands behind my back the way that everyone seems to do, and then I like startle a little bit as well. And then after a beat, I take out my fan and I open it. I'm just like, Miss Lei and Miss Sue.
Magistrate, my sister has made a mess.
Apologies. I will get you a cup as well. And I like flag a servant or whatever.
Comes over, puts another cup down. They're wiping the table. Sue says, "Oh, you've injured your hand."
Yeah. And like as I wrap something like a piece of cloth or a napkin or whatever's on
I'm
the table we're
offering
at?
my handkerchief
Oh, okay, sure.
as well.
Yeah, I'll take that and wrap it. I want to put some pressure on Sue, saying that the story I told is very sad, but it is also just between us and should not be repeated. Right, Sue?
Ooh, you want to do hearts and minds on your sister?
Yes.
Okay. Let's have you do that.
Okay.
What are you rolling with?
Let's see. No, I think I'm being kind of condescending seems pretty on point.
Okay.
So Earth +0. Blue dice. Don't let me down. 8. I got an 8.
Okay. She doesn't want to suffer for this, so she's upset, but she does kind of nod during this conversation. Let me ask you, Magistrate Lynn, what do you think you picked up from that, what you overheard? What are you feeling about that?
Well, as someone who has passed the Imperial exam, I am pretty smart, and I think I definitely got everything that I needed to know from that story, and I have some mixed feelings, which I think I should roll for.
Yeah, let's have you roll with inner conflict.
Yeah, that's. I was already having suspicious thoughts about my fiance, and wow, there seems to be lots of things that I don't know.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll with anything that's not my. Let's see. I think this is stability.
That makes sense.
So I'm gonna roll with Earth.
Okay.
So that's a 7.
Okay. So you have a choice. You can retreat. Essentially, you excuse yourself, you flee the scene, or you can mark Earth, because that's who you rolled with.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
So I take the tea and I take I don't actually drink it, but I make the gesture and then I put it down and I say thank you. This is very lovely. And then I just turn and I walk very fast away with my hands behind my back.
And you will walk out to see your bodyguard shopping with one of the 7 ghost fingers, this villain, Sedate Rao. They seem to be, very close, standing, very talking close to one another, looking at these scarves.
I walk over and I look with them at the scarves.
You're locked up there. Rao his eyes are locked on yours. Your eyes are locked on his, Lucky, and then you'll hear the
Is that from Boss Fong or from?
That is from the magistrate who's just stepped over.
Oh, hello, Magistrate Lin. We were just looking at these silks. Aren't they a lovely shade of red?
And they seem to be kind of wrestling. And that's probably the moment at which you hear the crash, and you see Ming come flying out of the 2nd floor of the tavern and land on the floor, the street below, and you'll see these figures with swords out come running up and look like they're maybe going to leap after him.
Okay. I'm going to walk over quickly to where actually maybe I'll just do the flying over to where Ming is, because Lucky Dog seems to have his part of the conflict under control, if there's a conflict, or maybe they're looking at silks.
Perfect. Cool. You can land over there.
Magistrate. Ah, hello. It's good to see you. How are you doing?
Is it now? And are there other fingers flying from the building?
The 6 that are up there were about to leap down to follow up on him,
Mm-hmm.
but of course they've seen a magistrate walk in.
Yeah.
Now they're a little like, they're kind of looking at Sedate Rao, and they're trying to figure out what to do.
Oh, they're looking at him, so he's the leader.
Yes.
Okay. I give all of them a look, like I've seen you, and then I turn back to this jolly pair in front of the stall, and I know what's his name?
Sedate Rao.
Sedate Rao. Do I know him?
You know that this is the 7 ghostly fingers. They're not a group of good guys. They're bad guys, and he is the leader of this little gang.
Well, they seem to be like a local group of thugs, right? They're not like.
They're out of towners, actually.
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna go up to him. And
I think that now you see like his hand is like in a barrel, because he had pulled his sword out and I'd like stuck it in there, so it looks like he's maybe reaching for some fish out of this barrel or something like that.
Yeah, they've continued on with this sort of close in, tight fight, not fight, the entire time you've been there.
can I hit their pressure points so that they stop moving?
You can. Rao is a foe of your scale, so you could certainly try and deal with him if you want.
Maybe I shouldn't.
Of course, that you do that right. You know, your bodyguard is already fighting him. You could embarrass him.
I don't want there to be a fight. Okay, maybe I won't.
You could just try and talk them down, hearts and minds.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say.
I get that you have the move too, right?
I do.
Strife for mastery or something.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if my move Rage of the Tiger triggered when.
Oh yeah, definitely. You get a bond with Wailing Pain.
Okay, cool. Okay. Sedate Rao. I see you're enjoying our shops here in our humble town.
There's lovely, good inventory. Well displayed. Very clean.
Well, I don't know if you know, but we have some important things coming up, and I would prefer it if you were to not cause any trouble.
Let's have you roll Strife for Mastery. And then I'm going to cut to Lee.
And I don't add anything to it, right?
Well, you choose what you roll. You always choose a chi that you add to it.
Oh, shoot. I think that would probably be Earth as well, because that's presence.
Okay.
Oh,
as long as you don't have Earth marked.
I don't.
Okay.
And that's an 8, 10.
10. What option don't you want them to pick?
I do not want them to attack me haphazardly.
So there'll be that bit where they've locked in, and Sedate Rao kind of looks, and he makes the nod to you of Lucky Dog of, I'll let go if you let go.
There's a couple fakes, and then we finally separate.
And Lee, you will come out onto the street to see this. You see Ming. You see this fighting tableau going on. That this sort of breaks up. What's your reaction to this, Lee?
I think I'm looking to. I think I like rushed out here after Magistrate Lin because I realized that something must be amiss. One sip and then gone. That never happens.
Yeah.
So I think I'm. Yeah, I think I might be just sort of looking with sort of pleading eyes to the magistrate.
looking at him, and then you see Ming.
Oh yeah, Ming is there, right? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Ming, what's your reaction when you see Lee come out of this tea house with Sue?
Mild terror. I'm far more afraid of that than of the 6 dudes who were just beating me up.
And Sedate Rao takes advantage of this sort of the mutual glance paralysis that you're all involved with, and he'll back out and he does that and shouts for his men, and they will take off down the street. And the camera will kind of do that zoom around pan, showing all 4 of you in the same place, looking at each other, glances cutting back and forth there, and the music will swell up, and that will be the end of the episode. And that's what we will take up next time.
Sounds good.
So if you engaged with your with one of your entanglements, you can mark 3 XP. If you engaged with both of them, you can mark 4 XP. What did you think, Lucky Dog? Did you hit your entanglements?
Well, I was trying to protect the wedding, but I don't know if I directly engaged any of my entanglements.
I think you interacted with. I'll give you for 1. So
okay,
3 points. Lynn, I think you hit. What do you think?
I don't feel like I hit either of these,
Let's see.
to be honest.
Yeah, we didn't get to. We had Lucky Dog. Yeah, I don't think we hit either of those. Well, I remind me of that next time. We'll make sure we lean into that right away. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
What about you, Wailing Pain?
I think both.
Oh yeah. And what about you, Ming?
I don't think I did anything with mine.
But I think we got those entanglements. I think at least one of those should be marked, given what happened.
Fair enough.
And that's what we'll take up next time. We'll start right away with that scene. We'll introduce some other complications, and we'll roll out from that. Is that cool with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Good place to stop? Okay. And we will talk mechanics at the end of the second session, but if there's anything you have questions about that you want to send me notes on and stuff, I'll appreciate getting any of that. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt, you mark 3, not 4, though.
I think you got 1 from earlier.
Yeah,
beat up.
from failing earlier, I got 1.
Oh, you mark with fail?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
Chose to lose the fight and got an XP for that, right?
You got XP for that.
Yeah, not
Okay.
every fail.
Yeah,
like
there are you get when you lose a conflict, when you agree to take pressure from another PC, certain moves offer it, and then when you deal with your entanglements, those are the ways you get XP.
So
I had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing everything come to a head.
Yeah, I hope that we can get all of these stories. They're so tightly woven that I want to make sure that we can get everybody to get some chance to play that out next time.
Indeed.
Matt, good to play with you again. I think the last time I played with you was with a melodrama.
It was, yeah. I was a monster named Alejandro.
That's right. You were the that was a horrible character. So that was great. Agatha, great to play with you
Yeah.
for the first time. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
that
your
was very
internet was
fun.
so screwy.
I know. I'm sorry.
I've had that. I hate that. I had one night where I think I fell off from the thing like 5-6 times, and thank goodness I was playing and not actually recording or anything. So,
Right.
all right. Well, thank you guys very much, Michael and Agatha. I'll see you on Sunday for Masks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
I'm super excited about that. So I will see you then.
I'll send you an email about that too.
Oh yeah, awesome. I look forward to that. So I will see everybody next week then.
Sounds good.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Night.
Bye, everybody.